$847,000. Let that number sink in for a second. That's not the price of a house. That's not a mortgage you pay over 30 years. That's debt, personal debt. The kind that follows you, that keeps you up at night, that makes you wonder if you'll ever be free. Now imagine paying it all off, every single dollar, in 4 years. On a middle-class salary. Sounds impossible, right? That's what I thought too, when Rebecca Martinez first contacted me. She said, "I have a story to share. I think it could help people." I get messages like that all the time. But when she told me the numbers, $847,000 in debt, paid off in 4 years, I thought there's no way. She must be exaggerating, or she inherited money, or won the lottery. But she didn't. She just had a plan, a strategy, and an absolutely unshakable determination to change her life. Today, I'm going to share Rebecca's entire journey with you, the exact debt breakdown, the budget she used with real numbers, the side hustles that accelerated her progress, the sacrifices she made, and most importantly, the strategy you can use regardless of how much debt you're in. Because here's the truth. If Rebecca could pay off $847,000 in 4 years, you can handle whatever number you're facing. My name is Sarah Chen, and welcome to From Broke to Thriving, where we share real financial recovery stories with real strategies that actually work. Let's dive in. Before we talk about how Rebecca got out of debt, we need to understand how she got into debt, because it's not what you think. Rebecca didn't go on shopping sprees. She didn't buy a yacht. She didn't gamble it away in Vegas. She made what many people would call good decisions. Decisions society tells us we're supposed to make. And those decisions buried her. Let me take you back to 2008. Rebecca was 24 years old, graduating from college. She just earned her bachelor's degree in business administration. She was smart, ambitious, driven. She also had $87,000 in student loan debt. Now you might be thinking, $87,000. That's not $847,000. You're right, but here's where it started to spiral. Rebecca's parents told her the same thing a lot of parents say. If you want to really succeed, you need a master's degree. An MBA will open doors. So Rebecca enrolled in a prestigious MBA program. 2 years, full-time, at a private university. Cost, $110,000 in additional loans. She graduated in 2010 with her MBA. Total student loan debt now, $197,000. But she had the degree, the credential, the opportunities would come, right? Wrong. 2010 was still deep in the recession. Jobs were scarce. Companies were laying people off, not hiring. Rebecca applied to hundreds of positions. She got 3 interviews, 0 offers. So she did what a lot of recent graduates do when they can't find work. She cobbled together freelance gigs, marketing consulting, social media management, anything to pay the bills. But here's the problem. She still had student loan payments, $2,100 a month, and she was barely making $3,000 a month from freelancing. After rent, utilities, food, and loan payments, she had nothing left. She started using credit cards for basic expenses, groceries, gas, car repairs. By 2012, she'd racked up $31,000 in credit card debt. Total debt, $228,000. Then, in 2013, something happened that Rebecca thought would save her. She got an idea for a business. She'd been doing social media management for small businesses and realized there was a huge need. Small business owners didn't have time or expertise to handle their own social media. They needed help. So Rebecca started a digital marketing agency. She called it Elevate Marketing Solutions. She was going to be her own boss, build something, make real money, finally get out from under this debt. She took out a $50,000 small business loan to get started, office space, equipment, hiring a part-time assistant, marketing materials. For the first year, it was great. She landed clients, made money, Felt like she was finally on the right path. Then she landed a big client, a regional restaurant chain with 12 locations. They wanted a comprehensive digital marketing overhaul. It was a $180,000 contract. Rebecca was thrilled. This was it, the big break. She hired 4 full-time employees to handle the workload. She took out another $150,000 in business loans to cover the upfront costs, salaries, software, expanded office space. The contract was supposed to pay out in installments over 18 months. 6 months in, the restaurant chain filed for bankruptcy. They'd been struggling financially, and the expansion they'd planned fell through. Rebecca's contract terminated with only one payment made. She'd spent $115,000 on salaries and overhead for that contract. She got paid $30,000. She was $85,000 in the hole, and she still had to pay her employees, her office lease, her other business expenses. She tried to save the business, took out more loans, maxed out more credit cards, tried to land new clients. But it was too late. In 2015, Elevate Marketing Solutions closed. Business debt, $265,000. Total debt now, $493,000. And Rebecca was 31 years old. She felt like a complete failure. The business she'd poured everything into was gone. She had to lay off people she cared about. She had a mountain of debt and no income. She moved back in with her parents, sold her car, started over from zero. For 6 months, she worked as a server at a chain restaurant, made about $2,000 a month. It was humiliating. She had an MBA and she was bringing people nachos. But she needed something, anything. Then, in early 2016, she found a job, marketing coordinator at a mid-sized tech company. Salary, $62,000 a year. It felt like a miracle, a real job with benefits, stability. But the debt was still there, growing. The interest alone was killing her. And then, just when she thought things couldn't get worse, they did. In November 2016, Rebecca started having severe abdominal pain. She went to the ER. They ran tests, lots of tests. She had appendicitis, emergency surgery, 3 days in the hospital. Total bill, $78,000. She had insurance through her new job, but it was a high-deductible plan. She was responsible for the first $15,000, then 20% of the remaining costs. After insurance, she owed $27,000. But it didn't stop there. 2 months later, the pain came back, worse than before. Turns out the surgery had complications. Infection. She needed a second surgery, another week in the hospital. Another $81,000 in bills. Another $35,000 out of pocket after insurance. Medical debt, $62,000. And here's the really cruel part. While she was recovering from the second surgery, she couldn't work. She'd only been at the job for 7 months. No significant PTO built up. She had to take unpaid leave. She fell behind on all her other bills. Her student loans went into forbearance. Her business loans went into collections. Her credit cards were maxed out and she couldn't make minimum payments. By the time she got back to work in mid-2017, her debt situation looked like this. Student loans, $287,000 with accumulated interest. Business debt, $315,000, including collection fees and penalties. Medical debt, $108,000, the surgeries plus other related bills. Credit cards, $89,000. Personal loans, $48,000. She'd taken these out to cover bills during her recovery. Total, $847,000. She was 33 years old. And she wanted to die. Not literally, Rebecca was never suicidal, but she felt like her life was over. There was no way out. She'd be paying this debt until she was 70. She'd never own a home, never retire, never have a life. She spent 6 months in what she calls the fog, going to work, coming home, staring at the ceiling, paralyzed by the enormity of it all. And then, on a random Tuesday in January 2019, something shifted. January 15, 2019. Rebecca remembers the exact date. She was at work. Marketing coordinator, remember, she'd kept that job through all of this. It was stable. It was something. She was in the break room, eating lunch alone, scrolling through social media. And she saw a post from a college classmate, someone she'd graduated with, someone who'd also struggled to find work after graduation. The post was a photo of a house, a modest house, nothing fancy, but it was theirs. The caption said, "After years of hard work and sacrifice, we finally did it. First-time homeowners at 35. Dreams do come true." Rebecca felt something crack inside her chest. Not jealousy, not resentment, something else. She thought, that could have been me. If she hadn't gone to grad school, if she hadn't started the business, if she hadn't had the medical emergencies, she could have been posting about buying a house instead of hiding from collection calls. And then she thought, wait, why am I thinking in past tense? Why am I acting like my life is over? I'm 35 years old. I'm healthy. I have a job. I have a brain. I have 2 working hands. What if it's not too late? She went home that night and did something she hadn't done in years. She faced her debt. She printed out every single bill, every statement, every collection notice. She spread them all out on her parents' dining room table. Yes, she was still living with her parents at 35, and she looked at it all. $847,000. She didn't cry. She didn't panic. She just stared at it and said out loud, "Okay, let's do this." Her mother walked by and saw all the papers. "Honey, what are you doing?" "I'm making a plan, Mom. I'm done hiding." Her mother sat down next to her. "Do you really think you can pay all this off?" "I don't know," Rebecca said, "but I have to try, because the alternative is spending the rest of my life drowning." That night, Rebecca stayed up until 3:00 a.m. She did something that changed everything. She made a spreadsheet. Now, this might not sound revolutionary, but stay with me. Rebecca listed every single debt, the total amount owed, the interest rate, the minimum payment, the creditor's name. Then she calculated how long it would take to pay off each debt if she only made minimum payments. The answer, 47 years. She'd be 82 years old when she made her last payment. That was unacceptable. So she started playing with numbers. What if she could pay an extra $500 a month, an extra $1,000, an extra $2,000? She researched debt payoff strategies, Dave Ramsey's debt snowball, Suze Orman's highest interest first method, hybrid approaches. She watched YouTube videos, read blogs, joined Reddit forums like r/Dave Ramsey and r/Personnel Finance. And slowly, over the course of 3 days, a plan emerged. Here's what Rebecca decided. Step 1, get real about income. Her salary was $62,000 a year. After taxes, that was about $3,900 a month. That wasn't enough, not even close. She needed more income, which meant side hustles, plural. Step 2, get ruthless about expenses. She listed every single thing she spent money on in a month. Then she asked herself one question for each expense. Is this necessary for survival or debt payoff? If the answer was no, it got cut. No exceptions. Step 3, choose a debt payoff strategy. After researching, Rebecca decided on a hybrid approach. She'd use the debt avalanche method, highest interest first for her credit cards. Those were at 18-24% interest, bleeding her dry. But she'd also knock out one small personal loan first, $3,200, just to get a quick win, a psychological boost. Then she'd tackle everything else from highest to lowest interest rate. Step 4, negotiate everything. Rebecca learned that debt isn't always set in stone. You can negotiate. She started calling creditors, one by one. I want to pay this off, but I can't at the current terms. What can you offer me? Some said no, some hung up, but some, Some were willing to work with her. She got her credit card interest rates lowered from an average of 21% to 14%. That saved her $170 a month in interest. She got her medical debt reduced by 30% after filling out financial hardship forms at the hospital. $32,000 just forgiven. Her total debt dropped to $815,000 just by asking. Step 5, set a timeline. This was the scary part. Rebecca did the math. If she could throw $15,000 a month at her debt, yes, $15,000, she could be debt-free in 5 years. $15,000 a month sounded insane, impossible. But she broke it down. Her take-home pay, $3,900 a month. She'd live on $1,200 a month. That left $2,700 a month from her salary. She needed an additional $12,300 a month from side hustles. $12,300 a month from side hustles. Could she do it? She had no idea. But she was going to try. On January 20, 2019, Rebecca started her debt-free journey. The number on her spreadsheet, $815,000. The timeline, 60 months. The odds, impossible. But as Rebecca told me when we first talked, I had nothing to lose. I was already buried. The only way out was through. Okay, this is the part you've been waiting for. The actual strategy. The real numbers. The step-by-step plan Rebecca used to pay off $815,000 in debt. I'm going to break this down into categories: budget, side hustles, debt payoff order, and sacrifices. Everything Rebecca did, you can replicate. Let's start with the budget. The budget. Rebecca's take-home pay from her marketing job was $3,900 a month. Here's how she allocated it. Housing, $0. She lived with her parents. Rent-free, yes, at 35 years old. Was it embarrassing? Yes. Was it necessary? Absolutely. Her parents charged her nothing. In exchange, she helped with household expenses, bought groceries sometimes, helped with repairs, that kind of thing, but no official rent. If you can live with family or get a roommate to cut housing costs, do it. Housing is usually 30–40% of people's budgets. Eliminating it is huge. Utilities, $85 a month. She paid her parents' internet bill. That was her contribution. Food, $300 a month. Rebecca ate rice, beans, oatmeal, eggs, frozen vegetables, and chicken thighs. She meal prepped every Sunday. She never ate out, not once in 4 years. $300 a month for food is about $10 a day. It's doable. It's not glamorous, but it's doable. Transportation, $200 a month. She'd sold her car, remember? She biked to work, 5 miles each way, or took the bus, $85 a month pass. The rest was bike maintenance and occasional ride shares when absolutely necessary. Insurance, $180 a month. Health insurance through her job, after employer contribution. Renter's insurance for the personal property in her parents' house, and life insurance. Phone, $35 a month. Cheap prepaid plan, no fancy phone. Personal care, $50 a month. Haircuts at home, her mom did them. Drugstore toiletries, basic hygiene stuff. Clothing, $50 a month. Thrift stores only, and only when something wore out. Entertainment, $0. Zero, nothing, no Netflix, no concerts, no movies, no bars, nothing. Her entertainment was free YouTube videos, library books, and hiking. Debt payments, $3,000 a month. Every single penny left over went to debt. Let's do the math. $3,900, take home. $85, utilities. $300, food. $200, transportation. $180, insurance. $35, phone. $50, personal care. $50, clothing. Equals $3,000 to debt. That's 77% of her income going to debt. That's extreme, but it was necessary. But remember, she needed $15,000 a month total to hit her goal. So where did the other $12,000 come from? The side hustles. Rebecca worked side hustles like it was a second full-time job, because it was. Here's what she did. Side hustle 1, freelance marketing, her main hustle. Rebecca had marketing skills. She'd worked in the field. She knew how to run Facebook ads, manage social media, write copy. She created profiles on Upwork, Fiverr, and Freelancer.com. She bid on every small marketing gig she could find: social media management, email marketing, content writing, Facebook ads management. For the first 3 months, she made maybe $800 a month. It was slow. But she built a reputation, got good reviews. Clients started coming to her. By month 6, she was making $3,000 a month from freelance marketing. By year 2, she was making $6,000 a month. By year 3, $8,000 a month. She worked every evening after her day job 6:00 p.m. to 11:00 p.m. And weekends, Saturday and Sunday 8:00 a.m. to 6:00 p.m. Side hustle 2, online tutoring. Rebecca had an MBA. She was good at math, business, economics. She signed up for Wisent and Tutor.com, tutored high school and college students online. $40.60 per hour. She did about 10 hours a week. That was an extra $600 too, $400/month. Side hustle 3, TaskRabbit and gig work. When she needed quick cash, she'd do TaskRabbit jobs: furniture assembly, moving help, cleaning, organizing. This was exhausting physically, but it paid $25.40 an hour. She did this maybe 15 hours a month, another $400/600. Side hustle 4, selling stuff. Rebecca sold everything she didn't need: clothes, books, old electronics, furniture. She made about $3,000 in year 1 just from selling her belongings on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, and Poshmark. Total side income. Year 1, 2019, $22,000. Year 2, 2020, $38,000. Year 3, 2021, $51,000. Year 4, 2022, $44,000. She scaled back as debt decreased. Combined with her day job raises, $62K right arrow, $68K right arrow, $75K right arrow, $82K. Rebecca's total income looked like this. Year 1, $84,000. Year 2, $106,000. Year 3, $126,000. Year 4, $126,000. After taxes and living expenses, she was putting between $10,000 per month toward debt. The debt payoff order. Here's the exact order Rebecca paid off her debt. Phase 1, months 1-6, quick win plus high interest. Personal loan 3, $3,200 at 12% interest, right arrow, paid off, month 2. This was psychological. She needed a win. Credit card 1, $12,000 at 24.99% interest, right arrow, paid off, month 4. Credit card 2, $18,500 at 22.5% interest, right arrow, paid off, month 6. Total paid in 6 months, $33,700. Phase 2, month 7-18, crush the credit cards. Credit card 3, $21,000 at 19.9%, right arrow, paid off, month 9. Credit card 4, $15,500 at 18.5%, right arrow, paid off, month 12. Credit card 5, $22,000 at 17.2%, right arrow, paid off, month 18. Total paid in this phase, $58,500. Running total, $92,200. Phase 3, months 19-30, personal loans and medical debt. Personal loan 1, $25,000 at 11% right arrow paid off, month 24. Personal loan 2, $19,800 at 9.5% right arrow paid off, month 28. Medical debt consolidated, $76,000 at 6% right arrow paid off, month 30. Total paid in this phase, $120,800. Running total, $213,000. Phase 4, months 31-42, business debt. This was the scariest. The business loans were in collections. Some had ballooned with fees and penalties. But Rebecca negotiated, hard. She settled several business debts for 40-60 cents on the dollar by offering lump sum payments. Original business debt, $315,000. Negotiated down to $187,000. Business loan settlements, $187,000 right arrow paid off, month 42. Running total, $400,000. Phase 5, months 43-54, student loans. The final boss, $287,000 in student loans. These were federal and private. She paid off private loans first, higher interest, then federal. Private student loans, $134,000 at 6.8% right arrow paid off, month 48. Federal student loans, $153,000 at 4.5% right arrow paid off, month 54. Total debt paid, $815,000. Timeline, 54 months, 4.5 years. She beat her own timeline by 6 months. The SACRFICS. Now let's talk about what this actually cost her, not in dollars, in life. Rebecca gave up. No social life. For 4 years, she didn't go out with friends, didn't date, didn't go to weddings or parties or happy hours. She became that person people stopped inviting places because she always said no. Was it lonely? Yes. Did it suck? Absolutely. But she kept her eyes on the goal. No vacations. 0 trips, 0 travel. She didn't leave her city for 4 years except for one family emergency. Her coworkers would come back from vacations showing photos. She'd smile and say, "Looks amazing." Then she'd go home and work on client projects. No car. She biked to work in rain, snow, heat. She got sick multiple times from riding in bad weather. She fell twice on ice. But she saved thousands by not having a car payment, insurance, gas, maintenance. No HOBBIS, that cost money. She couldn't afford hobbies, couldn't join a gym, couldn't take classes, couldn't buy art supplies or instruments or sports equipment. Her hobbies became hiking free, library books free, YouTube workouts free. No fancy food. Same meals on rotation, every single week. Oatmeal for breakfast, rice and beans for lunch, chicken and vegetables for dinner. For 4 years. No career advancement, kind of. Rebecca stayed at the same company, same job, same desk for 4 years because she needed the stability. She couldn't take risks, couldn't job hop for better pay, couldn't relocate for opportunities. She did get raises, 4-5% per year, but she couldn't make big career moves. No mental health breaks. This is the one she says was hardest. She was exhausted, burned out, running on fumes. But she couldn't stop, couldn't take a break, couldn't slow down. Because stopping meant the debt would keep growing. She saw a therapist twice, using her insurance, and the therapist told her she was headed for burnout. Rebecca said, "I know, but I'd rather burn out than drown." These sacrifices are real. They're hard. They're not for everyone. And that's okay. You don't have to do what Rebecca did. You don't have to live like a monk for 4 years. But you do have to make choices, and those choices have consequences. Rebecca chose to sacrifice 4 years of normal life to get 50 years of freedom. Was it worth it? Let's find out. ACT 4, Year BY Year Breakdown 44, 20-56-45. Music, triumphant but steady. Narrator. Let me walk you through what each year actually looked like. The ups, the downs, the moments she almost quit. Year 1, 2019, the grind begins. Starting debt, $815,000. Rebecca threw herself into the plan, got her side hustles going, cut her expenses to the bone. But here's what nobody tells you about debt payoff. The first year is brutal. Because you're working insanely hard, and the number barely moves. Rebecca paid off $33,700 in the first 6 months. Sounds like a lot, right? But her debt was still $781,300. It felt like she'd made zero progress. She had multiple moments where she thought, this is pointless. I'm killing myself and nothing is changing. But she kept going. By the end of year 1, she'd paid off $127,000. Remaining debt, $688,000. She'd knocked off 16% of her debt in 1 year. That was the motivation she needed to keep going. Year 2, 2020, the pandemic year. Starting debt, $688,000. Then COVID hit. Rebecca's day job went remote. That was great, no more biking in bad weather. But her side hustles took a hit. Some freelance clients paused their contracts. Tutoring demand dropped initially. For the first time, she felt genuine fear. What if she lost her job? What if everything fell apart? But then something unexpected happened. Online freelancing exploded. Every business needed digital marketing. Everyone needed websites, social media, email campaigns. Rebecca's Upwork income tripled almost overnight. She worked 80-90 hours a week, day job 9-5, freelancing 6 midnight, weekends packed. She paid off $189,000 in year 2. Remaining debt, $499,000. She'd crossed under $500,000. It felt like a miracle. Year 3, 2021, the burnout year. Starting debt, $499,000. This was the hardest year mentally. Rebecca hit a wall in month 28. Complete exhaustion. She called it the darkness. She woke up one morning and couldn't get out of bed. Physically could not move. Her mother found her crying at 6 a.m. I can't do this anymore. I just can't. Her mother sat with her. Then don't. Stop. Let it go. Your health is more important than money. Rebecca almost quit, almost decided the debt could just stay. But then she looked at her spreadsheet. She was at $443,000. She'd paid off almost $400,000 in 2 years. She was so close. She gave herself permission to slow down, just a little. She cut her side hustle hours from 50-week to 35-week. She paid off $221,000 in year 3, instead of the $230,000 she'd planned. Remaining debt, $278,000. All that was left were student loans. Year 4, 2022-2023, the final push. Starting debt, $278,000. Rebecca could see the finish line. She doubled down. The end was so close she could taste it. She paid off $278,000 in 14 months. On March 12, 2023, Rebecca made her final debt payment. $1,847.23 to her last student loan. She sat at her desk, still at her parents' house, and stared at the screen. Balance, $0. She'd done it. $815,000. Gone, in 54 months. She was 39 years old, and she was free. Rebecca called her mom into the room, showed her the screen. Her mother started crying. I'm so proud of you, baby, so proud. Rebecca didn't cry, she just felt numb, like her body hadn't caught up to reality yet. She went to bed that night debt-free for the first time in 17 years. And she slept for 14 hours straight. ACT 5, where she is now an LESSONS learned, 5645-6900. Music, hopeful, inspiring. Narrator. So where is Rebecca now? What happened after she paid off $815,000 in debt? This is the part of the story that gives me chills. Immediate aftermath, months 1-3 after debt freedom. Rebecca didn't immediately change her life. She kept living with her parents, kept her budget tight. But she did two things. First, she opened a high-yield savings account and started saving the $15,000 a month she'd been putting toward debt. Second, she quit most of her side hustles, kept one freelance client she really enjoyed, worked maybe 10 hours a week on it. For the first time in 4 years, she had free time, real free time. She didn't know what to do with it. She told me, "I'd forgotten how to just exist, without hustling, without working. I felt guilty for watching TV, for sleeping in, for reading a book just for fun." It took her 3 months to decompress, to remember she was a person, not just a debt-paying machine. Building wealth, months 4-12. Once Rebecca adjusted, she started building the life she'd been dreaming about. She saved $45,000 in 3 months, March-June 2023. In July 2023, she moved out of her parents' house, rented a small 1-bedroom apartment, nothing fancy, but it was hers. Rent, $1,200 a month. She could finally afford it. She bought herself a used car, a 2018 Honda Civic, paid cash, $14,000. She went on her first vacation in 4 years, a week in Costa Rica. She'd saved specifically for it. And here's the best part, she started investing. She opened a Roth IRA, maxed it out for 2023, $6,500. She started contributing 15% of her salary to her $401k. Her company matched 5%. She opened a taxable brokerage account and started investing $2,000 a month in index funds. Within 1 year of becoming debt-free, Rebecca had emergency fund, $30,000. Retirement accounts, $28,000. Brokerage account, $18,000. Total net worth, $76,000, positive for the first time since she was 24. Career moves, 2024. In January 2024, Rebecca did something she couldn't do while in debt. She changed jobs. She'd been at the same company for 8 years. She'd gotten decent raises, but she'd plateaued. Without debt hanging over her, she could take career risks. She applied to senior marketing positions at bigger companies, interviewed at 5 places, got 3 offers. She took a job at a Fortune 500 tech company. Title, Senior Marketing Manager. Salary, $112,000, up from $89,000. Plus bonuses and stock options. She finally had the career mobility she'd sacrificed during the debt payoff years. RELATIONSHIPS and life, current day. Rebecca is 40 now, she's dating someone, a guy she met through friends. He knows her story, he thinks she's incredible. She's reconnected with friends she'd lost touch with during the debt years. They understood. They welcomed her back. She's started hobbies again, painting, hiking, but now she can afford better gear, a book club. She's living a normal life, and it feels extraordinary because she knows what the alternative was. Rebecca's advice, in her own words. I asked Rebecca what she'd tell someone facing massive debt. Here's what she said. First, I'd tell them you're not broken. You're not a failure. You're not stupid. Debt happens. Sometimes it's bad decisions. Sometimes it's bad luck. Usually it's a mix of both. But it doesn't define you, and it's not permanent. Second, I'd tell them you have to face it. You can't hide from it. You can't pretend it doesn't exist. Print out every statement. List every debt. Look at the number. Feel the fear. And then decide you're going to beat it. Third, you need a plan, not a vague idea. A plan with numbers, with timelines, with specific actions. You can't just say, I'll pay off debt. You have to say, I will pay off X by date by doing these specific things. Fourth, you will sacrifice. There's no way around it. You can't pay off massive debt without giving things up. But here's the secret. The sacrifices are temporary. The freedom is forever. I gave up 4 years of my life. 4 years of fun, of socializing, of relaxing. But now I have the rest of my life, debt-free, building wealth, living on my terms. Those 4 years bought me 50 years of freedom. Fifth, progress is not linear. Some months you'll pay off a ton. Some months you'll barely make progress. Some months you'll go backwards. That's okay. What matters is the overall trajectory. Sixth, celebrate wins, even small ones. The first $1,000 paid off. The first debt closed. The first $100,000 paid off. These are victories. Treat them as such. Seventh, find your why. My why was freedom. I wanted to stop living in fear. Stop waking up with a pit in my stomach. Stop avoiding phone calls from creditors. What's your why? Write it down. Look at it every single day. And finally, you can do this. I'm not special. I'm not superhuman. I'm just stubborn. If I can pay off $815,000 in 4 years on a middle-class income, you can handle whatever you're facing. I promise you, you can do this. ACT 6. Common MISTKS to avoid an RESORCES 62 10-69 00. Music, educational upbeat. Narrator. Before we wrap up, I want to share the most common mistakes people make when trying to pay off debt and how to avoid them. These come from Rebecca's experience and from talking to dozens of people who have paid off significant debt. Mistake 1. Not having a written plan. Most people say they want to pay off debt, but they don't have a specific plan. I'll just pay extra when I can doesn't work. You need total debt amount, interest rates on each debt, minimum payments, payoff order, snowball V's avalanche, target monthly payment above minimums, timeline goal. Write it down, put it somewhere you see it every day. Mistake 2, not tracking every dollar. If you're serious about debt payoff, you need to know where every single dollar goes. Use a budgeting app. YNAB, you need a budget, best for zero-based budgeting. Every dollar, simple, free version available. Mint, automatic tracking. Spreadsheets free, customizable. Track for at least 1 month before making changes. You need to know your baseline. Mistake 3, not increasing income. You can only cut expenses so much. There's a floor. But income has no ceiling. If you're drowning in debt, cutting your $5 latte isn't enough. You need to make more money. Side hustles Rebecca recommends. Freelancing, Upwork, Fiverr, use existing skills. Online tutoring, Wisent, Tutor.com, if you're good at a subject. Gig work, Uber, DoorDash, flexible hours. Selling stuff, eBay, Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace, clear out, make cash. Even an extra $500 month is $6,000 year. That's a real dent in debt. Mistake 4, not negotiating. Most people don't know you can negotiate debt. You can. Call credit card companies and ask for lower interest rates. Negotiate medical bills. Hospitals often have financial assistance programs. Settle debts and collections for less than owed. Get it in writing. Refinance student loans for lower rates. Always ask. Worst they can say is no. Mistake 5, not building any emergency fund first. This seems counterintuitive. Why save when you're in debt? Because if you have zero savings, the first emergency, car repair, medical bill, job loss, will put you right back into debt. Save $1,000 first, just enough to handle small emergencies. Then attack the debt. Once debt-free, build a full 3-6-month emergency fund. Mistake 6, trying to do it alone. Debt payoff is hard, mentally and emotionally exhausting. Find support. Online communities, r/Dave Ramsey, r/Poverty Finance, r/debt. Accountability partners, friend, family member, even online stranger. Financial counselor, nonprofit credit counseling agencies offer free advice. Rebecca credits online debt-free communities with keeping her motivated. Mistake 7, forgetting to live. This was Rebecca's struggle year 3. You can't completely deprive yourself for years. You'll burn out, you'll quit. Build in small rewards. Monthly fun money, $20.50 for something you enjoy. Quarterly mini celebration, nice meal, small trip, whatever matters to you. Annual bigger reward, when you hit major milestones. The goal is not to punish yourself, it's to free yourself. RESORCS, REBCCA used. Books. The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, Debt Snowball Method. Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin, Mindset Shift. The Debt-Free Degree by Anthony O'Neill, Avoiding Student Debt. Wish she'd had this earlier. Apps. YNAB for budgeting, subscription but worth it. Unbury Me for debt payoff calculator, free. Personal Capital for tracking net worth, free. Websites. r/Personnel Finance, Reddit community. r/Dave Ramsey, Motivation and Accountability. National Foundation for Credit Counseling, free credit counseling. Podcasts. The Dave Ramsey Show, debt-free screams are motivating. Choose FI, Financial Independence Focus. Afford Anything, Mindset and Strategy. YouTube channels. The Financial Diet, Budgeting and Lifestyle. Graham Stephan, Personal Finance and Investing. A Rich Journey, Debt-Free Family Journey. These tools are available to anyone. Most are free, all are accessible. You don't need to be rich to access the resources that will make you debt-free. You just need to decide to do it. Outro 69, 00-7300. Soft, inspiring music. Narrator. Let's bring this home. Rebecca Martinez went from $847,000 in debt at 35 years old to completely debt-free at 39. She did it on a middle-class income. She did it while living with her parents. She did it by working her face off and making sacrifices most people wouldn't make. But here's what I want you to understand. You don't have to do exactly what Rebecca did. You don't have to pay off $800,000. You don't have to live on $1,200 a month. You don't have to work 80-hour weeks. But you do have to do something. Because debt doesn't go away on its own. It grows, it compounds, it suffocates you slowly. And every month you wait is a month longer you'll be paying it off. So here's my challenge to you. Today, right now, take one action toward your debt. Maybe it's writing down all your debts in one place, calculating your net worth, calling a credit card company to negotiate a lower rate, signing up for a budgeting app, listing something to sell online, applying for one freelance gig. Just one action, something concrete. Because the journey to debt freedom doesn't start with a massive overhaul. It starts with one small decision, and then another and another, until one day you look up and realize, I did it. Rebecca did it, and so can you. Before I go, I want to say, if you're in debt right now, if you're struggling, if you feel hopeless, you're not alone. Millions of people are in your exact situation, and thousands of them have found their way out. You can too. Drop a comment telling me about your debt situation. You don't have to use your real name. You can be completely anonymous. But sometimes, just typing it out helps. Just nomming the number helps. And I promise you, this community will support you. No judgment, no shame, just encouragement. If this video helped you, please hit the like button and subscribe. Your support keeps this channel going and helps me share more stories like Rebecca's. Next week, I'll be sharing the story of a couple who paid off $347,000 in debt in 2.5 years using a completely different strategy. You won't want to miss it. Until then, remember, debt is not forever, but freedom is forever. My name is Sarah Chen. This is From Broke to Thriving. And I'll see you next week.